I want to start off by thanking every single person who is here today to celebrate my dad's life. My dad's least favorite thing is a sappy funeral, so today we are going to try our best to celebrate the life he lived, the people he touched, and the family he created. I would be doing my dad an injustice if I left out that he's one of the funniest and most sarcastic people I've ever known. Most of my humor comes from him. I even picked up on the corny dad jokes without realizing, sadly. He was pretty good at bringing light to just about any situation. My dad and I have shared many fond memories together. Before I started elementary school, my dad took me to Chuck E. Cheese every Friday. I would make him do all the hard games that win you a bunch of tickets. He always did it gladly. He also showed me that if you go into almost any arcade as soon as it opens, they will leave the tickets out that the people forgot to grab the night before, and my dad and I will run around grabbing them. At Chuck E. Cheese, they also had this one boat racing game. My dad would stand right over me and watch me play for probably too long, and I always got first place in his eyes, even though the screen said 15th out of 15. He made me feel like a winner. Also, when I was younger at Lowe's, they had something called Build and Grow. Every Saturday morning, they would give you a packet with wood and some screws, and you could put it together and it would make a birdhouse or a car, etc. My dad took me almost every Saturday, and even though it was for young kids, I guess you could just call my dad a big kid because he would always get 2 packets, one for me to build, and one for him to build. Sometimes I think my dad enjoyed my toys more than I did, especially the Legos. My dad was always very creative and a musical person. I will forever admire the way he would connect topics to real life in his sermons. Obviously, being a pastor, you have to be pretty good at writing. So anytime I needed help writing, he would always help me gladly. Thanks to him, I got a lot of 100s on my essays. I went through a snarky, rude, thinks she knows more than her dad phase, and even though that phase was challenging for me and my mom and my dad, I learned many things. Every time me and my dad would argue, and I would just bite back every time. But as I got older, he embedded in my head that you're going to run in circles if you're just listening to argue. My dad always encouraged me to listen and understand, and him teaching me that perspective has made me able to take in many different opinions with understanding and an open mind. And it's made life easier. And as time went on, I finally realized maybe my dad does know way more than me. It always felt like my dad had answers to everything. He did a great job at giving me a perspective on things. The perspective he showed me always made me realize how special and fun life can be, but it also showed me how blessed I am to have the life I have because not everyone gets lucky in the game of life. One of the big things I learned from him is that it's never worth it to hate because life is too short. And even though maybe you don't think so, life is much easier when you choose love. It's not always easy to not let certain situations get the best of you, but as my dad would say, life moves on when bad or good things happen, and you just have to keep on living and make the most of life for what it is. Life is truly what you make it. I'm proud to have been raised by my father. He's made me a pretty prepared 18-year-old, but he did a good job at teaching me that some things you will never be prepared for, and that's okay. The last thing I'm going to talk about is the love he radiated. For those who don't know, I was adopted by my mother, Carrie Sturm, and my father, Craig Sturm. On that day, they chose to love me unconditionally, and that they did. My dad showed me what real love is. The way he respected and helped his parents, the way he made sure to take care of my mom, his family always being his #1 priority. The way he tried his best to invest in every single person that stepped foot in Trinity Lutheran Church. He never missed a single one of my soccer games, even if it was raining and it felt like the weather was in the negatives. He went out of his way to photograph every single game I've ever played and edited the pictures for hours at night for me and my teammates. He showed me love by always making sure I'm over-prepared for everything. Like before every club soccer game in the middle of August, he would pack bottles of water and Gatorade in an ice chest for me every game. Or when I was just about to go to bed before a game, but he would come in and make me pack before I slept. When he made me do my homework before I could do anything else, or when curfew's at 11, if I'm home at 11:03, I'm grounded. Or him always forgiving me no matter what outrageous things I said or did. The way he would make sure I would learn my lesson no matter what and no matter how many times it took. He showed me love when every day during the summer he would take me out for lunch, or when he would take me out to Grapevine or Frisco to shop, when we would go watch a movie together and he always let me get a medium cherry icy, him driving me to different states for soccer tournaments to support my dreams, all of the practices he took me to. When I realized I forgot my clothes for school while I was changing after soccer and he came and brought me them, even though he was at work. This happened more times than I can count. Or as soon as I sneeze, he's already running over to me with allergy medicine. Or at Texas Roadhouse, when steak got stuck in my throat, and from across the table, he spit his mashed potatoes all over my face and then patted my back until the steak came out. The way he supported me and thought I was the best soccer player in the world, even when I just played the worst game of my life. All those life lessons he made out of just about anything, and as annoying as they were at the time, every single one helped me become the person I am today. And I think I turned out somewhat okay, just a few screws loose, but my dad had some too. I wouldn't want a different dad. I know my father would want us to appreciate all the memories and celebrate the life he created for himself and his family. And I will say this, death may feel like a wall, but it is not the end, as my dad will continue to live forever through me and all of those whom he has impacted. And he will continue to live eternally through Christ. He is in Christian paradise. I promise I will let him live through me as I continue on the journey of life. I love you forever, Dad.